Did you ever think throughout that 2001 season, because that was such a great MVP race that year too, did thoughts ever creep into your head? I know players say, oh, I don't think about that stuff, but did you ever have thoughts of, could I win the MVP on this team in this year?
Well, to this day, Ichiro, I tell Ichiro, I said, you should send that MVP trophy over to my house because I should have won it. I'll grab something for you. Hold on.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah. The suspense is real here.
Okay. What is this?
Mariners MVP.
The Mariners MVP.
How can you be the Mariners MVP, but your teammate is the league MVP? It's impossible.
The wonderful Baseball Writers Association of America, Brett. That's why.
Impossible. It's impossible. And I tease Ichiro about it all the time. Back to that on a serious note. I realized a long time ago, you can only do what you can do. And once you play the game, you put up the numbers, it's out of your control. Awards come and go. You know, there were several times where, man, I should have won a Gold Glove, and I didn't. And then I won one that I didn't think I should have won, and I won. There were years I should have gone to the All-Star game. I didn't go. But I'm not – my dad told me a long time ago, Brett, life's not fair. So what are you going to do about it? You going to mope? You're going to do your job. So we don't play this game for awards. It's nice when you win them. Don't get me wrong. Every time I won an award, it was an honor. But it's something I realized a long time ago. You don't have control. So you do the best you can, and the chips fall where they may. And sometimes you win, and sometimes you don't. Ichiro had an unbelievable year there. He was great. Coming over from Japan, he was the huge story. He kind of put Japanese baseball on the map. I think Hideo Nomo back earlier really was the first pitcher that came over here and really, really thrived. But from a position player standpoint, I think Ichiro was the first that really put the position player on the map. Matsui in New York shortly followed that and was definitely a great player. But yeah, you know, and like I said, it's something I can tease Ichiro about. And yeah, you always thought, man, there's not much more I could do that year number-wise, you know, from a second baseman. But you know, it didn't work out, and that's okay. It's nothing I really look back on. It's because I have no control over it. I did what I did, and you know, you talk to the local writers, and you know, some guys voted for you, some guys didn't. But it's something you don't really think about too often, and I surely don't. Like I said, I refer back to my dad when he used to have talks to me and go, "Listen, life ain't fair. So quit pouting about stuff you have no control over." And he's right.
Okay, so speaking of Ichiro, at what point at spring training did you realize this dude is kind of ridiculous?
We didn't know. Spring training, we had no clue because he was doing his thing, slapping balls the other way. You know, he was talking a little bit, but not really. Once we got in the season and his ability to get hits the way he got hits, I think nobody had ever gotten hits that way before. I mean, he was hitting routine ground balls to short and beating them out. He made shortstops change their game when he was hitting because I don't think we'd ever seen somebody get out of the box the way he did. I mean, Ichiro's fast, but his technique of getting out of the box when he was swinging made him ridiculously fast. So he changed defenses, the way they defensed him. And, you know, especially that first year, we had a lot of fun. I mean, Ichiro people don't understand. He's funny. He's charismatic. And he would have us cracking up because he knew a lot more English than he let on. And you know, guys would tell him dirty jokes and he'd say them in his Japanese accent. And he was a lot of fun. Those teams, especially 01, 02, 03, those were some real fun years.
Okay, so speaking of Ichiro stories, and you said that he would tell all these hilarious jokes. There's a couple Ichiro quotes out there that I know people still hang on to this day. There's that, so, I mean, we swear on this podcast pretty regularly, but so like there was the whole "who the fuck is Tom Brady" quote And then there was the, I'm going to botch this one. There was the Kansas City quote.
I think.
So were you shocked at all when he said those two things?
No. Yes, because he said them out loud. And normally that was for his teammates only. Behind the scenes, he would share funny stuff with us. I remember running out to right field. I think our first game. I forget who the umpire was, though. Eddie Montague. He runs by Eddie Montague, and Eddie, he looked at me. He goes, "Does Ichiro speak English?" I said, "Yeah, a little bit." And Eddie said something to him, and he just said, he says something to him running by, like, "What's happening, home slice?" And Eddie looks at me, and I start cracking up. I said, "He knows a little bit of English," but that's how Ichiro was. It was very endearing, and like I said, he was very charismatic.